Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today I will talk about the impact of the new Trump administration that is incoming in January. There are a lot of important topics and everybody will be interested, whoever is watching this video. I'll go through what are the impacts for people who are on visa in this country, work visa or otherwise. I'll also go through people who are on green card, things to do and not do during this time, when to do, what are the things we can expect on day 1 week and 90 days after the Trump administration takes into effect. And also something about denaturalization and birthright citizenship. So everybody who is watching this video, you may have clicked on this because it may impact you. So a lot of important topics. Watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now check out the links in the description because those are affiliate links, and if you find anything interesting, the channel will get a little bit of a kickback, and also you will help support the channel. And while you are down there, don't forget to hit the like button. With that said, let's discuss what happened last week. So we were anticipating an outcome in the election that may have gone one way or the other. People were saying that the race was too close to call and we never knew what would happen. Until the election day, and things were quite clear. Right when I got up next day morning, I saw that Trump had already won, which was kind of unexpected because I was expecting a closer race. But regardless, almost all the swing states were won by Trump. Not only that, Republicans gained back the Senate control, and they are on track to gain the House control as well. Now this is huge. This is very rare that there is a trifecta government. So as it is, there were some significant changes expected through Trump administration, but with the Congress now being able to help him with that agenda, it will be even more likely so. Now, I expect a complete revamp in the immigration section. It may come out as a surprise to you that nothing has been passed in the last several years or several decades, and how come there is a chance for a complete revamp. I'm saying that there will be significant changes, if not many, that will impact the employment-based immigration. I'll name a few when I come to that point, but let's look at what is happening. So Trump already won the presidency, so the White House is with president. Now second, the Republican majority in the Senate. Now Senate is quite important because it helps the administration nominate its people in the right location, like cabinet positions, Supreme Court positions, and so on. And this has significant impact on the broader outcome that what happens in the nation. A lot of laws are passed through the Senate. Senate, although requires a 60 vote majority in many significant cases, there are things that can circumvent that. And there are possibilities of removing the filibusters in some situations. That way, a simple majority can win. Now let's talk about the House. House was with Republicans. They were almost ready to slip it, but now it seems like the House may also come back to the Republicans. I don't know the latest numbers. By the time I finish this video, I may put something on the screen, but that's how it looks like. So gaining Senate and also gaining the House as majority, the Republicans are in really good shape. If they were to pass any significant legislation in immigration, now is the time that they will do it. Now what about the Supreme Court? Supreme Court is also majority on conservative judges. So their decisions will also be more leaning towards the conservative. So that is what we are seeing. Now let's look at what might happen in the first couple of weeks. Say for instance, now that the elections are over, the Trump team is busy in drafting out the executive orders that will be signed on day 1. That's my prediction. Now these executive orders, if we were to go back in the history, what happened in 2016, there will be some bans, most likely bans, and there will be some reversals of the policies that were put in by the Biden administration, especially in the immigration space. Now there is a lot to talk about, but I'm going to focus only on the immigration section.
And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever done the Google search of your own name? Look what I have found when I did mine. Here's what comes up While some of this information is relevant, the other makes me uncomfortable that my information is exposed for a sale like this. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, or anybody else who may want to target you. Your full name, email address, home address, your relatives' names, health information, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out request for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura does so much more to protect my information and my family's information from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything for one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving your back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to my link which is on the screen and in the description and start your free 2 weeks trial. So protect your information, your family, and have a peace of mind. That's Aura.
Border will be figuratively sealed by reversing many of those orders that Biden administration had put in place. So this will reduce the flow of illegal migrants from the southern border. I'm expecting that to happen immediately. Now next, what will happen is there will be some restrictions on the travel. Now, although we can't speculate what the administration is going to really do, I can foresee that there will be some travel restrictions. So those are the kind of things that will happen on day 1 or week 1 or in the first 90 days. Now this will have a significant impact on travel. Now I'll come to things that you should be careful about in the next couple of days. But now let's look at other things such as diversity visa. I'm expecting that there will be some kind of a halt or limitation on the diversity visa, which are not applicable to Indian citizens unfortunately, but many of the rest of the world. Then there will be restrictions on refugees. Now Canada has already put a restrictions on number of people coming into Canada. I think US is also going to do the same thing. There will be restrictions or limitations on the number of refugees that they would let in. So that is another thing that could happen in the first 90 days. Now we'll talk about some other things that might happen. Due to these restrictions in the consulates, I am suspecting that there will be a reduction in the number of green cards that are given at the consulates. Now I have talked about this in my previous videos. During the second Trump administration, there will be similar restrictions that he had put in place in the first time around. Now what that will mean is there will be unused visa numbers from family-based immigration that will be spilled over into the employment-based immigration, into the employment-based category. But this will happen no earlier than October of 2025. That will be the first time we'll see the spillovers coming from the FB category to the EB category. But even before that, there could be some spillover coming in laterally, in the sense that there will be unused visa numbers from the consulates given even in the employment-based category. So there will be a lateral shift from rest of the world into the EB category. So you might be able to see some movement in quarterly order in say January, April and July of this year as well for EB1, EB2, EB3. All this I am basing it on the fact that there might be restrictions in the number of immigrant visas that will be given out in the consulates starting January. So that is my speculation. Now even the elections are over and the result is out, there is still more than 2 months of wait period. It's almost 72 days until the new administration comes to the power, which is January 20th. Now between now and then, here's what I recommend. First thing is, if you are on a visa, say work permit or H1, L1 and so on, if you are due for an extension, do file the extension. Do file it in premium processing if you have an option to do so. The reason I am saying this is there might be increase in the percentage of denials or RFEs after the administration comes to power, after January 20th. So if it's possible for you, get your extension in before that date. That would be my recommendation. Now, second thing is if you have EAD or AP, so any kind of filing, petitions pending on your behalf at DOL, at USCIS, at Department of State, get those expedited to be approved before the January 20th. That will be my recommendation. Now, if you are in a 485 stage and if your date is current, try contacting your senators and congressmen to get your case expedited. Now, there is no such thing as expediting the green card, but you can at least make an inquiry on your behalf so that you can get an answer. And if your case is documentarily complete, chances are that USCIS may go ahead and approve your case. So do not wait. If you have already waited for a couple of months while your final action date is current, go ahead and do all kinds of things that you can to ping USCIS, nudge USCIS to approve your case. Do contact me using Calendly to talk to me, and I can suggest you what are the things that you can do in your particular situation. You'll find the link in the description. Next, if you haven't applied for green card, do apply it right away. You don't want to wait until your visa expires. You want to start your process a couple of years before that. Do start. If you are eligible for EB1A category or EB1C category, now is the time to do so. Call me if you need any questions. I'm having a masterclass on 24th for EB1A, which might be helpful for you. I'm also going to do an EB1C masterclass in early December. So look out for that link as well. Now, another thing, if you are in the visa extension scenario, and if you have got your visa extended, now if you want to get a stamp done on your passport, now is the time to do so. I would even suggest, if your previous stamp is expired, get an appointment at the nearest consulate, maybe in Canada, Mexico, or even in India, or wherever you can, to get your visa stamped as soon as possible. Getting it stamped for the entire duration or validity of your extended visa will help you avoid going to the consulate in the near future. Apply for green card if it's possible. Apply in all the categories that are applicable to you. So there is no restriction on number of categories in which you can apply for your green card. You can have simultaneous application in EB categories such as EB1, EB2, EB3. You can have a parallel petition in EB5, or even you can have a family-based petition in parallel. All three can be in parallel. Whichever gets you a green card gets you the green card. So don't shy away from applying for your green card if you're eligible for any of those categories. Now, another thing that I would like to point out is if you have been on a green card for a while, say for 3 years on a managed-based green card, or 5 years after getting your employment-based green card, and if you are eligible for citizenship, do apply for N400. Now, N400 is the form that is used for naturalization, and that is the process that you start when you are eligible, when you have completed the required number of time living in the United States, and you have all the documentation to apply for citizenship. So do apply for that. Now, there are other couple of things that I would like to mention. Now, people who are on student visa or people who are in between jobs, between their validity periods of their visas, make sure that you don't overstay. You don't overstay your I-94, you don't overstay your visa validity. Don't accrue any status violations. That is critically important, and I will come to that point in a moment why it's important. And in any of those applications that you make, do not misrepresent. If there is a question that where you denied a visa in the past, and if you are really denied, do mention that. USCIS can see everything in your history, so that question is to just confirm your moral character. So don't shy away from mentioning the facts that had happened in the past. Another thing is, do not submit fraudulent document, fraudulent pay stubs, fraudulent mark sheets, fraudulent transcripts, or even degree certificates. There have been cases where USCIS has revoked their green cards or visas based on this fact. So do not do that. It will haunt you for the rest of your immigration journey. Now, another thing that I would like to mention is January 20th is not too far away. If you are planning a trip to India or outside of the United States, and if you are on a visa, now is the time to go. Now is the time to visit your parents during November, December, and early January to make sure that you have that visa, come back on your valid stamp, and avoid getting into the difficulties of travel in the future. This is not to scare anybody. If you have a valid visa, even after January 20th, there is not going to be any issue coming back, as long as you are representing yourself properly, not misrepresenting, in the sense that you are still working for the company that has sponsored you the visa, the H1 or the L1. As long as that is the case, you should be fine. But if that is not the case, then now is the time to travel and come back. Now, there is another thing that people were worried, and these are all the things that I really did not want to make this video because I thought it would scare a hell out of a lot of people, but people suggested me to do this video. There are many channels out there who are making this kind of video, but I wanted to provide you my perspective, because the perspective that everybody else has, including lawyers, are slightly different than what I would be suggesting you. If you trust me, continue to watch this video until the end because there are so many more important points that are coming. And if you need to get in touch with me, do contact me on my Calendly. Calendly is the way you can book 30 minutes with me and I can have a call with you over the weekend. I usually have time booked for Calendly in the weekends. Now another thing is, if you are doing a stamping, now is the time to get stamped. But remember that there is something called administrative processing. A typical stamping appointment is like you either put it in the Dropbox with all the documentation or submit it at the consulate. Now what happens is you pay the fees and then you submit your passport and then you have waiting period. The waiting period could be 1 or 2 weeks before when you get your passport back with a valid stamp. Now sometimes there is an administrative processing that happens, which means that the USCIS officer or visa officer is taking some extra time to validate your documents or do your background check. So that administrative processing time may increase after January 20th. That is my speculation. Now that's the reason I'm saying that if you go before, you might get lucky and get your visa in time or get your stamping done in time. But if you go after that, you could expect to see more number of or increased number of administrative processing times for many people. By the way, this is not to scare you, but I know for a fact during the last couple of years, there have been cases where people were stuck in India or wherever they went for more than a month or 2. I have had one person report to me who waited in India for 8 months to get his stamping done. So it's my duty to just let you know about these risk factors so that you can make a conscious decision between now and January 20th. Now, what else could happen? Now, processing times in general may increase a lot. It has been known even in the past administration, the processing times had increased, the denial rates had increased, the number of RFEs people received also had increased. So consider all of those while making your decision. Now, 2 more topics I want to talk about, and these are related to the citizenship. Now, it has been a widespread understanding that whoever is born in the United States becomes an automatic citizen. That is called birthright citizenship. And it is in the Constitution. And you can read that Constitution verbiage as I put it on the screen. But there is a lot of discretion, there is a lot of ambiguity in the later part of the section. What I mean by that is Trump administration had indicated in the past that they would revoke birthright citizenship in certain cases. In certain cases in the sense that if your parents were not citizens or they were not green card holders or they were not in the US on a valid visa, then the children who were born here may have gotten their citizenship by birthright, but they may not be eligible. So this is the argument that they could make. Now this could be challenged in the court for n number of reasons. My objective was to clarify that because few people had reached out to me. Many of our community has their children born here, and is there a threat to their citizenship? Now, in my opinion, there is no threat if you are on a valid visa, if you had a green card, or if you are a citizen. But if not, then you need to worry about it. So that was in the birthright system. Now, what will happen, or if there will be anything that will happen in that scenario, nobody can predict. It's just by the information that we had from the past. Now, another thing and most important thing is denaturalization. Now, this is something that is dreadful to even hear. Now, people take so much effort to come to the United States on a valid visa. They work for many number of years. They pay taxes. They get their green card. They wait their turn, and then they become a US citizen. Now, what if you are told that you will be also at risk at denaturalization? Well, I first of all want to tell you that this is a very, very, very rare occurrence, and it is for a specific reasons. There are a couple of specific reasons that I will name, but I'm pretty sure that 99.99 people who are watching my channel will not fall in that category. So you will not have to worry about denaturalization. Now, where does denaturalization come into play? And by the way, there are only handful of cases that are denaturalized every year. It's actually 11 in average per year, the denaturalization cases, and they are for a very specific cause. Now, let's look at what are the grounds for denaturalization. Basically, fraud or misrepresentation. If you had obtained your green card or citizenship through misrepresentation or through fraudulent documents or fraud, then you are at risk of denaturalization. Now, anything that you did to conceal the fact for your physical presence or physical or moral character or good moral character and so on, the facts that would dismiss you from getting your citizenship will be the ground for your denaturalization. Now, there are a couple of other things that will get you straight away impact you for your naturalization is if you become part of a community or if you do non-national or treasonous act against the nation, such as you participate in an army who confronts or kills US citizens, or if you are part of terrorist organization and so on. There are a couple of other things. That's one. But the other thing is if you obtain your green card through fraudulent method. So there may have been a situation where you submitted your documents that were fraudulent in order to get your green card, say marriage documents or employment based documents or whatever that case may be. And if there is a litigation, if USCIS investigates that, if they spend money, time and resources in investigating you, they will probably build a case against you that is extremely hard to fight. So if you get a denaturalization situation, it's really difficult to get out of it. Well, lawyers can only do so much, but the fact that you have been put on that in itself is significant, and USCIS has already spent a lot of resources investigating you. Now, denaturalization, it's not a proactive measure. So they're not trying to find people who are criminals or who have fraudulent cases. This happens if they get a sense of it, if there is a complaint, if there is something that has happened to trigger them to look at your case. And they go through the full investigation even before registering any denaturalization case for you. Now, denaturalization can also happen if government issued you a green card by mistake. Now, there were a lot of cases in the last couple of years where your priority dates were not current, or you were given a green card when you were not really eligible. So in those cases, if the government made a mistake in granting you a green card and then eventually a citizenship, they might not come after you. But if the mistake was due to you providing a false information, misrepresentation or fraudulent documents, then definitely it will come back to haunt you. So that's why I keep saying, no matter what, don't accumulate any unlawful presence in the United States. Don't use any fraudulent documents. Be truthful to every interview, every petition that you have with USCIS, because you never know when it will come back to haunt you. And these cases, although very few and far between, they are very strong on behalf of USCIS, and they are very, very hard to fight back. Not to scare you, but just to make you aware, because few people had come back to me. I actually had few calls yesterday and today regarding this. So I thought it was an important topic to cover in my next video. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. There were a lot of the points I covered. If you have questions, do put in the comment section below. By the way, I'm doing my giveaway that I mentioned in my last video. I'll be giving out this Nomad band for Apple Watch, and I will also be giving away this Anker wallet that is also a great wallet. So 2 lucky people will get these 2 things. All you have to do is put a meaningful comment in the comment section, ask a question, start a conversation and so on. Like the video, share the video, comment on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So that's all I wanted to say in this video. Don't be scared. If your case is clear, you have nothing to worry about. Hope you got a value out of this video. Do hit the like button and I'll see you in the next one.